And I would like to have our next speaker, Mr. Gaurav Mashruwala, a certified financial planner practitioner. He is well known for the columns he writes in various leading English, Gujarati and Hindi publications, as well as for his appearance on various English and Hindi television channels. He is also a visiting faculty in various management institutes on financial management. Mr. Mashruwala has authored the book Essential Guide to Carefree Retirement and was a consulting editor of Layman's Guide to Wealth Creation, a pocketbook by Outlook Money. Mr. Mashruwala was a part of the Global Advisory Council of Financial Planning Association USA for the period 2007 and 2009, and also chaired the Global Advisory Council for the year 2009. He is also the member of Capital Market Committee of Indian Merchant Chambers and expert resources in the area of personal finance to the chambers. Well, I hope you're not down with the viral, sir. No, I'm sure you're not. Presenting Mr. Gaurav Mashruwala, a round of applause, our final speaker for today.
Thank you. It's always a tough task to come as a last batsman. And more so if the match is won, then you're fine, but then you still have to go and bat even if it's not completed. And that's what I have to do. So I've come here, I'm going to be talking on taking charge of your financial life. Most of my earlier speakers have covered almost all the points, so I don't have anything new to speak. So let's start with basic in that case. How many of you all want to make a lot of money in life? Put your hands up. Okay. My second question, why? Can you define your enjoyment? What is that? What is security for you, sir? How many people, and I have this problem with all my audiences, always. My first question is, how many of you all want to make a lot of money? And hands go up, and if I feel that audience is sleeping, I ask for put both the hands up, and sometimes I make them stand up. I'm not going to do that today. But, you know, people want to make a lot of money. How many people in audience have written down list? These are my responsibilities and these are my goals. Completely articulated. It's not back of your mind. It's that you've written down, these are my responsibilities, these are my dreams for which I want to make a lot of money. How many people have written down list? Okay, so we have less than 5% of people putting that up. What is the first question that a taxi wala asks when it's in taxi? What if your answer is pata nahi hai? What will he do? He'll check you out, that's one. Or he'll do second thing. He'll take you on a long ride, which is his goal of making a lot of money. Please write this down in a paper and pen that you have, please. Those who don't work for their goals, works for somebody else's goals. Get this thing loud and clear. Okay? It happens time and again. Sabyasachi spoke about it, Mr. Rao spoke about it, others spoke about it, and this goes on and on and on. And people like me and all of us survive in profession because we have a whole lot of people all over the globe who don't make their financial goals. What is financial planning all about? Can somebody tell me? What is a financial plan? What does a financial plan contain? Budget? Is financial planning a spending plan? Think about it. Why do we earn money? Why do we borrow money? Why do we invest money? To spend at a later date? Or to pass it on to next generation, which is going to spend? I'm not against spending, trust me. But it's just that our mind plays havoc when it comes to deciding our financial goals, our spending list. Now, what happens in the absence of when we have not articulated our own financial goals? We want what's happening outside. You know, because when we have to decide our financial goals, we have to go internally. We have to go within ourselves. We have to go and question ourselves, what do we want to do with our money? And our mind creates havoc. And I'll briefly, since Mr. Rao has spoken about that, I talk on yogic wealth and all, I'll slightly touch upon here or there, wherever it comes to. All our spendings are governed by what our scriptures talk about: moh, krodh, lobh, all that fear, greed, anxiety. All our spendings are governed by that. And I'm not against that. In fact, those emotions have to come because that's what proves we are human beings. All those things that comes up. Now, because those emotions that comes up, when you sit to make your financial goals, we stop focusing on financial goals. So the problem that we face with people is that financial goals छोड़ दो, अभी बता दो कहाँ invest करना है. अभी तो invest कर देते हैं, goal setting बाद में करेंगे. गौरव, एक दफे बड़ी रकम आ जाने दे, बाद में सोचेंगे गोल्स, अभी ये छोटी है, इन्वेस्टमेंट कर देते हैं. All reasons given for procrastinating, deciding our financial goals. And this is what keeps happening because we don't want to look internally. We want to. And that's the reason we want to know what will happen to economy. We want to know what will happen in Greece. We want to know what will happen in stock market. We want to know what will happen in gold. All these are external conditions. Why? Because we don't want to look within. Let's look at a situation. Imagine if a father was to go and tell his daughter, you know, she's come home, she's expecting, she's going to deliver. Can you defer your delivery by 6 months? You know, Infosys is going to give bonus. Or somebody telling son, saying that, you know, I know your marriage is in 3 months' time, but I probably expect stock market to double the speed in a year's time. Why don't you defer that? It doesn't happen. Our situation is not that volatile. Then why do we make investments which are volatile? Why do we want? Because we are looking at external conditions. Start looking at internal conditions. Start defining your financial goals. What are those responsibilities and dreams for which you want to save and invest money? And I'll tell you the kind of emotions that comes. And it plays havoc. But that's okay. That will prove that we are human beings. Let's look at some, I'll go slightly into basics of behavioral finance. It's very, very important because unless that's not focused into, people like me and all of us will keep coming on podiums, will keep coming on stage, and will keep saying, decide your financial goals. And we'll still have less than 5% of the audience putting their hands up. In fact, all those people who put their hands up, I did not ask them the second question, that have you made this list with your spouse if you're married? And believe me, again, 3 hands would have gone down. Because it's different. But end of the day, if you're married, it's a joint responsibility. It's joint spending, but that's not done. And that's where the entire struggle comes in. Let's get into a little bit of behavioral finance, and I'll slightly touch upon even the human needs. What is a basic human need that we have? Physiological need. So food, water, and for that human beings need money. Perfect. That's being taken care of. What is the second stage of need that we have? Security. We need security from weather, we need security from animals, insects, birds, so we need shelter. For that also, human beings require money. So the first 2 stages, the basic need, if anybody knows Maslow's law, I'm talking about that. The basic need, which is our physiological need, and the second stage need, which you're talking about safety need, we do require money. Human beings require money because that's going to come by paying money. The third, fourth, and the fifth stage, love and belongingness, self-respect, and self-actualization is going to come from within. We don't require money for that. Money is not going to solve the problem. But when you sit down to make a list of responsibilities and dreams, your mind is going to create havoc. Your mind will not let you kind of decide on certain things, and that's the reason people don't have goals. It's very easy for us to say goals. It's very easy for me to give an example of a taxi wala. In fact, I can go on and on, keep giving many goals. There was this person who would get up every day in the morning and pray to God, Bhagwan, aaj meri lottery nikal de. Roz subah. एक ही प्रार्थना, भगवान आज मेरी लॉटरी निकाल दे। एक दिन, एक हफ्ता, एक महीना, एक साल, 11 साल के बाद भगवान परेशान हो गए। भगवान प्रकट हुए, कहते हैं पहले लॉटरी की टिकट तो खरीद। And that's a situation that we deal in. We have not defined our goals. The first step is define your financial goals. And your mind will not let you do that. Number one. Number two, again, our scriptures talk brilliantly about the kind of wealth. And that's another angle that you need to look at. If you don't look at it, you're going to struggle. And I'll tell you how we struggle. That will come later on. It talks about 4 wealths. It doesn't talk about one wealth. It talks about 4 wealths. The first wealth is physical wealth, your well-being. The second one is your social wealth, relationship with spouse, family, friends, etc. The third stage is emotional wealth, the state of mind. And fourth is a financial wealth. Out of these 4, if any one is not in order, you will not be able to enjoy other 3. Come what may. What's the point in having a 10 crore portfolio and you require a ward boy for routine activities? Is it going to help? What's the point in having a 50 crore portfolio where you're litigating with either your spouse for alimony or you're probably litigating with your cousins or whatever, whoever, for ancestral property? Is that going to help? Imagine a situation where your daughter has to go for higher education in 4 months' time and you don't have enough money to pay. You still have a problem. Require balancing of all 4. That's what life planning is. That's what the comprehensive planning. That's what we talk about taking charge of a financial life. Because money is not going to solve problem. I'm not against money. Believe me, I'm not against money. But it's a question that you all need to ask yourself. Why are we not able to decide our financial goals? We have been saying time. How many people in the audience didn't know that there is a need to have financial goals? See? Everybody knew that there is a need for How many people have heard before from a financial planner, on a TV channel, on a radio show, in a newspaper, from a friend, that you need to have financial goals? How many people have heard this term financial goals before? Please put your hands up. Everyone. So everyone knows that there is a need for a financial goal, and most of us have not done. And we still want to become wealthy. And we want financial freedom. Financial freedom will not come with money. Financial freedom will come with the thoughts that arise in our mind because of money. Because of money, the first thing that we have is, since we require food, clothing, shelter, etc., there is a fear. What if I don't have money? If there is fear, there is bound to be insecurity. If there is insecurity, there is bound to be anxiety. And anxiety is going to lead to greed. All these emotions will come in your mind. On the other side, if we are trying to fulfill our need for love and belongingness, if you're going to talk about fulfilling our requirement for self-esteem, self-respect, self-actualization, if you're going to fulfill, which we can't, then we'll obviously have insecurity, ego, jealousy, shame, comparison, frustration. All these emotions will arise in our mind. And the moment we have all these emotions arising in our mind, we would want financial freedom. For that financial freedom, actually that freedom will come from these thoughts. But what we will look at is, we will say money will solve the problem. Money is not going to solve the problem. And hence, when we want increment in terms of money. We want a growth in terms of money. Again, I'm saying I'm not against money, and I'll just briefly touch upon these emotional aspects, and I will go on to financial planning steps, because that's my main discussion. But because I've seen over a period of time, audience completely and alwaysly saying, we all are aware of setting financial goals, and less than 5% of them have set up goals, is when I started realizing that where is the problem, and that's where scriptures gave us a brilliant answer. And that's what I'm talking about. That for wealth, look at the emotions that arise. When we look at it, we want increment in terms of money. Now, should we be beyond a point, once your basic need of food, clothing, and shelter taken care of, should your increment be measured in terms of money? Or should it be is that how much more time I could spend with doing activities that I like compared to last year? What should be your real measure for increment? Should you increment me in terms of money, or should be that how many less number of times I visited doctor compared to last year? You know, there was this brilliant advertisement that I saw, and I really loved that advertisement. Sorry, I have a health condition, and hence I'll just keep sipping water in between. There was a brilliant advertisement, and I really liked that advertisement. The advertisement said that guaranteed 50 lakhs salary. Along with that, diabetes, stress, and hypertension free. And there was a competitor who got up and said that guaranteed 75 lakhs salary. Along with that, stress, diabetes, hypertension, and divorce counseling free. Now, you know, Lord Yum up there, he felt insecure. He said, ye log to mera kaam kar rahe. So he came up with another advertisement. Guaranteed 1 crore salary, diabetes, stress, hypertension, divorce counseling, and free pickup from planet Earth. That's what the situation arises. Please look at a situation whereby you are enjoying wealth. Money is important. किसी ने कहा है कि money बहुत कुछ कर सकता है, लेकिन सब कुछ नहीं कर सकता. So look at that. It's important to have money. We are discussing money. Money is an important part because for human beings, food, clothing, shelter, and even beyond that, a lot of our dreams can be fulfilled. And why not? I mean, believe me, I'm absolutely not against buying a Mercedes. If you're getting pleasure out of Mercedes, by all means, go and pick it up. But after sitting in Mercedes, if you're going to look at the neighbor's Mercedes and say, iska model purana hai ya naya hai, then there is a problem. Because then you are saying that iska model naya hai, so I'm going to feel depressed, iska model purana hai, so I'm going to get feel. Don't do that. Please enjoy the wealth. I face so many times TV audience, live audience like this, where people are saving up to 30-40% of their income. They are doing the systematic investment plan in a regular manner. They have taken care of insurance, they have retirement planning, and yet they have that anxiety. Yet they are, what's the point? Are we enjoying that wealth? We are much better. How many people in the audience have a problem that they will not have food to eat tonight? Food to eat tomorrow morning? Food to eat for next 1 month? Anybody has clothing and shelter problem? Those things are taken care of. I will talk again. Repeatedly, I'm saying that I will talk on steps of financial planning, but you need to look at it. And our scriptures talk about all these things in a super manner. Believe me, life planning, behavioral finance, all those things, the way scriptures have defined, nobody else has defined. But coming to financial planning per se, Sabyasachi already spoke about it, Mr. Rao spoke about it, is contingency funding. You need to have 3 months reserve. It's mandatory. It's kind of, but the way you keep it, and that's where I have a problem. Yes, you keep it in a bank. You keep it to savings bank linked to fixed deposit. You also keep it in liquid fund. But please keep at least 10 to 15 days reserve in form of cash at home. I remember instances on 26 July when there was a major downpour and ATM machines were submerged. And if it's Saturday, you do need to buy your milk and vegetables. And liquid fund will not help you. I'm not against liquid fund. Yes? Your savings account linked to fixed deposit will not. Can you go to a milkman and say, as a downpour saying, hey, ATM card hai, doodh de de? It does not function. You need to have it. You need to have certain amount of cash. It should not be too large, obviously, because we want to generate returns out of it. We want some benefits coming, but it cannot be a situation whereby you absolutely you don't have cash at home. The first step of financial planning, contingency funding. Next, insurance. Now, their health insurance. How many people have health insurance from their employer? Okay, brilliant. Now, all those people who have health insurance from their employer, how many people have walked up to their HR department and said, what kind of cover I have? Is it limited? Is it unlimited? What will happen once I retire? Can I continue that policy or not? How many people have done that? Okay. See, balance hands going down. Every time the first question, more hands go up. The second question, it goes down. Why? Because people have not taken the trouble. So yes, I have a cover from my employer. Brilliant. Have a look at it. Please pay attention to what kind of cover is it. Is it cashless? Do you have to pay and will it be reimbursed? Is it for your entire family? Is it only for you? What will happen? People nearing retirement, and I see a couple of elderly here, senior citizens here. And you all need to check what will happen when you retire at 60. Can you continue? Some employers do allow you to continue those policies on your own. And in some instances, that's not possible. You need to take a call. Also, is your family aware of it, whether it's from employer or on your own? I again face that problem so many times with my audiences. Health insurance hai? Haan hai. Is your family aware of it? Can they transact? And then there is an issue. I do a lot of these sessions for husband-wife couples. And that's why I asked that between two of you all, who's looking after the finances? So it's predominantly male, but now we are very happy that we even have wives who are taking care of it. So it's not, then I say, okay, the individual who's taking care of it, go out of the room. And I asked the second person. I said, here I'm going to ask you 6 questions and please write that down. Who's your health insurance agent? Who's your life insurance agent? Who's your stockbroker? Who's your chartered accountant? Who's your mutual fund distributor? Write the name, write the phone number. If you don't have the phone number, you can say it's written in mobile. But is it there in your mobile? People don't have that. What's the point in making that investment? Somebody has come and told you have a demat account. Somebody has told you have a mutual fund, well-diversified portfolio. Brilliant. You have taken care of it. But when you really need it, your family is not going to be able to utilize it. Imagine a situation where you have created a brilliant financial plan, you've executed it to the T, but besides you, nobody in the family is aware of it. And the excuses that I get is, why husband will get up and say, I tell her, but she's not paying attention. Wife will get up and say, I keep asking him, but he's not telling me. So you can keep arguing on those things. And next time when you decide to do this, there's an argument, blame it on me. Gaurav ne kaha tha, iske liye jhagda hua. But after that, if you're going to make that list, in fact, grown-up children, even they need to be aware of that. Because nobody is going to call you up and say that, look, I'm going to come today, illness is going to call you up and say, hey, I'm coming, just ensure that you're ready with your health insurance plan. It's going to come suddenly. You need, family members need to be aware of it. Similarly, with your disability and accident insurance, you all need to be aware and your family members need to be aware. It's not just doing it, it's executing it and family knowing about it. In fact, I repeatedly speak about going on financial date. Please go with your spouse on financial date every 3 months and discuss your financial situation. Let each other know where papers are, or somebody, if one of them is more active, the second person should know where that money is kept, how is it kept, how to transact, how to execute. All these things are very, very important because invariably it's not, the attention is not paid. And then in the end, what's the point in doing that? After health insurance, we come to life insurance. Now, honestly, is it life insurance or is it death insurance? Is it life insurance or is it death insurance? Death insurance, right? So, imagine if I was to say, all of you all, please go home today and purchase death insurance from Death Insurance Corporation of India Limited. I don't know about you all. Economic Times will not call me again. The only thing that I know about life insurance, and it's a brilliant research that I have, is most Indians die in the month of February and March. Right? Most of the life insurance policies are sold in the month of February and March. Why? Because most of us die in the month of February and March. It's done from the... Why are life insurance policies bought? For 2 reasons. 1, either to save tax, or 2, which is still important, is that your colleague's daughter took a life insurance agency. Your friend's wife became a life insurance agent. Somebody in your building had to complete a life insurance target. हाँ या ना? Yes? Sir, ऐसा नहीं है. Life insurance we need to purchase because we can die. No, most people purchase life insurance thinking they're not going to die, and hence they end up picking up life insurance policies where if I don't die, I want my money back. And hence it's picked up more from investment perspective. So Besaji spoke about it. Life insurance from the risk of covering death of an earning member. There are two kinds of losses that a family suffers in case of a death. One, emotional loss, and second, financial loss. We cannot replace emotional loss. Financial loss can be replaced. Therefore, those members of the family who are earning members. So if it's a housewife, her death is not a financial loss and she did not have a life insurance. But if it's a working woman, there is need for a life insurance. So all those members of family whose death is a financial loss require life insurance. And we normally recommend pick up the purest and probably the cheapest form of life insurance, which is term plan, which means if you don't die, you don't get your money. But that's okay. How many of you all have a car insurance? Everybody? So at the end of the year, if I have not banged the car, I won't get money back. So what do? Last day of the month, boom, bang the car. Health insurance. If I don't go to hospital, I don't get my money. That year's premium is gone. So what do? Last day of the month, call up a hospital, say I want to get admitted. No, it's gone. It's okay. You had the protection throughout the year. And same thing works with life insurance. If you don't, is it okay if you don't die? Yeah, please don't die. You don't have to. So you still buy life insurance. That's the second thing that you need to look at it. Purchase life insurance from covering the risk of death. So what all things we spoke since beginning? I spoke about setting financial goals, the kind of emotions that arise in our mind and that creates havoc. And when that emotions create havoc, it disturbs us. So what we want is financial freedom, but financial freedom will not come from money. It'll come from freedom from those thoughts. Now again, I'm not doing a session on yogic wealth, otherwise I could have spent more time, but let's keep that aside. But just look at yourself and see, ensure that money is important. We need to look at it because our basic need of food, clothing, shelter will be taken care of with money and higher needs. So we spoke about that, and then we moved to how to keep contingency fund. So it's important to keep contingency fund, but how to keep is important. Similarly, health insurance. It's just not enough to have health insurance, but it's important to ensure that members of family are aware of health insurance. It's also important to know, to make your family, to also be aware that what kind of cover your employer is giving. This is also important. Life insurance from the risk of covering death. So once that's done, that's the wealth protection. You're protecting your wealth from whatever these kind of turbulences come in. That's the base. Lot many times people start asking me question. I've started earning. What is the first thing that I should do? And my answer is decide financial goals and create contingency fund. And they're like, no, but I want to invest. I said, don't. First create contingency fund. Then look at health insurance. Then look at life insurance. Probably your property, so your car, house, whatever that needs to be protected. Only after that, go on to the stage of wealth accumulation. So wealth accumulation is a second step. If you have not done your wealth protection and moved to wealth accumulation directly, somewhere or the other, at some point of time in near future or far off future, you will have to erode the wealth that you have created. Now, when it comes to wealth accumulation, the first thing is loan. What is loan? I had the situation in Baroda I was talking about, and so this Gujarat, right? So when I said what is loan, somebody from audience got up and said, loan ko ulta kar do aap. Na lo. Yeah? I'm not against loans. If you are staying in rented premises, by all means pick it up. Take a home loan, pay EMI, and ensure that house is yours. If there's somebody ill in the family, we can't say bypass 1.5 saal ke baad karayenge, paisa ikhatta karke. You can't do a SIP for bypass surgery. Don't even try that. Okay, that's too risky. It's not risk worth taking. Education, you do require. But taking money and going on Switzerland, don't do that. Please don't do that. There was this brilliant TV show that was going on. And there was an anchor who was interviewing a devil, a demon. And anchor asked a question to that devil. What is the cruelest thing that you've ever done in your life? And the devil says, but that's my job. I'm supposed to do cruel things. I create orphans, young widows, epidemics. So the anchor said, no, something that sends shivers. So the devil says, yeah, but something Holocaust and wars and all. So anchor said, no, something which is a feather in your cap. I mean, you're so proud as a devil to. And that devil, the demon thinks and says, oh, I invented credit card. Countries get wiped out. So credit card as a means of payment mechanism is perfectly fine. But credit card, when you don't have money in the pocket, or taking or any kind of borrowing with the aim of paying later and splurging now, don't do it. Loan is, and you may want to write that down, spending a future unearned, uncertain income today. I repeat that. Loan is spending a future unearned, uncertain income today. You are spending it today and you're going to pay from future. Future is uncertain and your income is also uncertain, but your EMI will remain certain. So take loan, take a call whether it's really needed or not. And if it's basic necessities, by all means you have to. But it comes to luxury, be very, very careful. It's double-edged sword, it can kill you. And then we can have a situation whereby a decade, 2 decades is what you'll be behind. It takes a lot of time to recover. So be very, very careful. After that comes investments. So investment comes fairly late. And when it comes to investments, I'm going to show you a very simple financial plan. Yeah, here, I have that. Can people in the last row see that? Okay, I'll tell you what I've done. And please go and do that. This is one-page financial plan. Don't get into complicated plans. When you go home today, take a photograph of your entire family, all the members of family, and next to it, just stick the financial goals that you have. And keep looking at it daily. Beyond that, just leave it. You know the kind of focus that you will have? So that's what I've done. There's a family in between, and then if you can't see, I'm really sorry. Next time I'll probably try and make it a little bigger because the hall is straight, the venue is, yeah, so I can't. But even if you don't look at it, it's perfectly all right. It's a one-page plan, and this is what you need. Believe me, it does not matter whether what is happening in Greece or China, because your daughter is going to get married, your son has to go for higher education, and whether Raghuram Rajan makes some statement or not. Yesterday I was talking at some place in a IT company. Youngster gets up and says that, we were expecting Nifty to touch 11,000 and Sensex to cross 33,000. But all this because of Arun Jaitley. He made some rules about MAT, and then Raghuram Rajan is not reducing rate of interest. So when do you think these things will happen? I said, have you made your financial goals? So he's saying, no, once these index levels crosses that, after that I'll make financial goals. Don't do that. Those things will happen. Even if those things don't happen, you'll still have to fulfill your goals. Do that. This is your one-page financial goal, one-page financial plan. This is the only thing that you need to do. We do this in our office for all our clients, without exception. And believe me, the commitment of the entire family is brilliant. If you want, just take the photograph. There's no copyright on this. I don't want to copyright any of my stuff. This is there's nothing new that I'm talking about. It's already there. So please do this. The entire family has a huge commitment to this. Time and again we have seen this. In fact, after that, when you make investments, start giving names to your investments. So since Birla is the sponsor, I'll use Birla's name, but it could be anything. Instead of saying Birla, you all have a Birla Equity Fund. Okay, so instead of saying that my investment is to Birla Equity Fund, assume your son's name is Rahul. How about saying that this is the investment for Rahul Higher Education Equity Fund? Your entire outlook towards that money will change. Start naming. If you're doing a recurring deposit, because you want to go on a vacation after a year, don't call it recurring deposit. Say Switzerland vacation deposit, or Switzerland vacation recurring deposit. Maybe next to these goals, write that down and see the level of commitment that's there. Let me ask you a simple question. Assume you are doing a systematic investment plan in an equity fund for your daughter's higher education, where she's going to go for that higher education after a decade. You have 10 years of time and you are doing that systematic investment plan for daughter's education. And equity markets have given good return. The fund has performed well. How many of you all will take out money from that daughter's higher education equity fund and go to Switzerland for vacation? No way? I'm saying Switzerland because Mr. Rao just returned, so that's playing in my mind. I personally been so. Okay, assume you have not named that fund. See, the moment you have not named that fund, the chances that ye acha profit hua nikal lo kar lete hain, which means your level of commitment drops. We invariably have fund houses complaining that people don't remain committed. Invariably, we have situation where in these meets people say, you know, I'm struggling to just do things pictorially. A mind will pick it up fast. One-page financial plan. Whole family keeps looking at it. All your investments are written next to it. See the kind of commitment that family will have. It's a different ball game that you're talking about. And when the entire family is involved, you will achieve financial freedom. Because then you will have that confidence. You are moving slowly towards. Yes, I see that smile on that face. You'll slowly, you're moving towards it. In fact, if possible, so whatever, even if you want to go on vacation to Far East or Japan, and you know, if technology, and I'm not too great on certain things, maybe have something on your iPad or whatever, and see every time you put in SIP, it slowly starts changing color. And see, once you achieved it, the entire color is different. Go and enjoy. You'll love it. Plus, you know one more thing? You'll get free enjoyment even while you're saving and investing. Because every time you're putting in money, you're thinking about it. And the entire emotion next, free enjoyment. It's not delayed gratification, it's prolonged gratification. The entire situation, phukat mein milta hai, le lo yaar. So investments, when you make it based on financial goals, yes, but make those financial goals in a manner that family is committed to it. When you make investments, start naming those investments. So we spoke about financial goals. We spoke about the emotions that arise. We spoke about contingency fund, health insurance, life insurance, loans, investments. Retirement is the same thing. The first phase of retirement is creating money for retirement. So again, if you start naming it, you'll have more commitment to it. And there are various instruments which Mr. Rao has spoken about, Sabyasachi has spoken about, and there are various other things, so I'm not going to repeat that. The second phase of retirement is not many people have spoken, and so since we have senior citizens, we have elderly people, I'll briefly touch upon that, and that is, it's a three-legged stool. You have three distinct requirements in retirement. One is liquidity, second is regular income, and third is growth. Your capital needs to grow at a rate higher than inflation. Again, Sabyasachi spoke about it. Now, it's like a tripod, a three-legged stool. All three legs are in different direction. You put everything in savings bank account, you have liquidity, but that will not grow. You have everything in stocks and gold, either directly or through mutual fund. It will grow, but it will not give you regular return. And if you have everything in senior citizen savings scheme or a monthly income plan or a monthly income scheme, it will give you regular return. Liquidity will come at a cost. There is no growth. So, you know, you have three things. If all these three legs are not balanced, you're bound to be in difficulty. So for senior citizens, elders who are about to retire, look at these three and then decide. While investing, while creating financial goals, financial plan, look at your own situation. Don't do what neighbor does. If your neighbor is taking medicine for diabetes, how many of you will take it? No? What if there is an offer, diabetes ke saath heart ki goli free? We don't do that. Look at your condition and then move ahead. And will, again Sabyasachi spoke about it. We had Mr. Sathe talking about will. They have easy will, which is brilliant. But when it comes to will, please keep emotions away. As a planner, I face the situation. And it's mess. People want to create more and more complicated will. And that's a sign of insecurity. More complex the will, more insecure, because मरने के बाद भी control नहीं देना. नहीं छूटता है sir. People want their wealth to last for generations, लेकिन next generation को देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है. इतना complicated बनाएंगे, क्यों करते हो? You'll not be there, you would have been gone up. Guaranteed you'd be gone up when will be open. I mean, there is no other alternative. It cannot be, it is no, yeah, the will is not, I mean, tell you, while you're alive, it is no, it's a sheet of paper. Please don't do that. I have people who have told me that will mein likho that, you know, while I was ill, my elder son and daughter-in-law did not come to look after me. इनको नहीं मिलना चाहिए. If you don't want to give them, don't give them. But why do you want to write it in a will? वो मरने के बाद भी खुन्नस जाता नहीं है. It's not making sense. The moment you start making complicated will, financial planners like me, chartered accountants, lawyers, government, all of us will learn. And after paying our fees, government fees, and after all those things is the residual money which will go to your near and dear ones. Why? Because you wanted to create that exotic will. Keep will as simple as possible. You don't need to create complicated will, and let go of that control. As simple will as possible is going to be brilliant. And then I come to the last stage. Monitoring, I've already spoken. Review, I already spoke about financial date. But it's very, very important. I have this biggest problem with most of the people. I tell them that spend 2 hours every quarter, which means I'm saying spend 8 to 10 hours every year looking after the wealth, and people don't do that. If it's rising stock market, people will be looking at it all the time, continuously. Be careful. That's also injurious to your financial health. Imagine if somebody is measuring blood pressure 4 times a day. वो नहीं होगा तो भी दवाई लेनी पड़ेगी. Keep reviewing it. Ensure that your investments are aligned to your condition. Ensure that your family members are aware of the decisions that you have taken. Ensure that all your documents are updated. Now we have an option. We had gentlemen from NSDL talking about it. You can store them electronically. Keep doing all these activities, but keep reviewing. And again, it's not only about assets. And I have this problem, and I'm very confident even today, most of the questions will be on assets. How do I make more investments? Should I buy bond? Should I buy equity? That's one side. If you want only your financial life to be blissful, what you have to do is 4: income, expense, assets, and liabilities. Your earning, spending, investments, and borrowing. Only when all these 4 are synchronized is when your financial car will move ahead. And I already spoke about your 4 kinds of wealth. Your physical wealth, your social wealth, your emotional wealth, and financial wealth. When all those 4 are synchronized is when you will actually have wealth which you can enjoy. So coming to my last point, again I'll touch upon scripture. Scriptures talk about something as an unpaga minim. The kind of wealth, and which I pray for all of you all, a kind of wealth which once comes to you does not have any legs, which means, I'm just doing a translation from Sanskrit, which is difficult, but unpaga minim actually means that once it comes to your house, that wealth should never go. Not after a decade, not after a generation, it should never grow. So I'm praying to God that all of you all have unpaga minim wealth. Thank you very much.